Hi, and welcome to Conscious Awareness TV. Today is December 26, 2013, and we hope you had a fabulous Christmas yesterday and this all the shopping and family time. So we just wanted to, wish you that and thank you for joining us today. And we also want to thank Teresa Hill for the sacred space of being here and being able to film this. And today we are going to be talking about putting hopes and dreams into a new reality. And this show is really about living consciously. And Jeannie and I have had firsthand experience, as always, to actually really share today about not only our dreams in a new reality, but about living consciously and how you think things are going to go right and bringing a new reality, your dreams, to this fruition, this manifestation, and thinking it's going to go in a certain order and everybody's going to be on board and all that. And really it's just, this is where we're talking about bringing this new reality into a manifestation that it takes everyone, it takes to including everyone in this. So we're going to be able to share about what's going to be going on in the show and how to bring your reality. Oh, and I wanted to let you know that we don't have microphones, so this is part of living consciously. So if you are having a hard time listening to us, because we're going to start shouting and maybe talking a little higher, a little louder. So if you don't hear us, that is why, because we don't have microphones, which is part of living consciously, which is part of reality and everything else. So yeah,
so we had a chance here today to discover what happens when you think you have everything organized and everybody's on board. We weren't able to reach the person who had the microphones. That was stage number one. Then we got all the way up here and discovered we didn't have the camera and the tripod, so we went back for that. And in all of this, just communicating and letting our other team players here know what's up, and oh gosh golly, he couldn't find his phone. So there's so many things that enter into our life that we think, oh gosh, well that's it, that's all we can do, and it's so not true. And Linda was reminding me there's no I in team. And while we're a team, every team player is the most important person on the team. And so when it comes to communicating, when things happen, it's so important to be able to go make more effort to make it happen. If I can't find my phone, can I borrow a friend's so I can make the call, so we can be in touch? So we've just had our own adventure this morning, which we call conscious living. And here we are. That's where we're sitting close together.
Yes.
So we're close to the computer so you can hear us.
Yes.
Not that people have ever had any trouble hearing me, but Linda's booting up a little.
Yes.
And
I'm learning to boot up a little bit.
Exactly.
In many more ways than one, not just on the camera and so you're able to hear, but really in life. And is what we're going to be sharing on the show is about booting up and living consciously. And how do you do that? What does it look like? And we're going to show you. But we wanted to talk about the last 50 years, the reality that we're really stepping into. So Jeannie's going to share with you some information really about the last 50 years.
And I'm going to hog the television time here for just a minute. So,
but I'll be doing the wrap up. We have a little signal here that we need to, but anyway,
wrap it up.
Yeah.
Good with me.
Yeah.
I just want to bring to our attention, we all know this November was the 50th anniversary of President Kennedy's assassination. And really, for those of us who have been on the planet all this time, that really marks a real change in things we've seen here. I just want to point out a few of them that you may have been living but hadn't realized. Along that same time was the Vietnam War, and there wasn't a lot of support to military and their families. Right. So, we've come quite a distance there, thanks to, for sure, Michelle Obama and others recognizing these are people, and people who are defending our way of living for us, and we're honoring them more here at home as well as overseas. And also, another realm that's made a change is in healthy eating. And we have, again, Michelle to thank on bringing that to our attention, young people, kids. Yeah. And we may not realize, but there was that commercial with McDonald's that started kind of the fast food craze, which you deserve a break today. And for those of us on the planet, and it was like, oh, hallelujah, we surely do. But it did enter in a time of getting food quickly, not necessarily the best nutrition, and now we see it can affect how a child learns. their ability to pay attention to the teacher. So a lot interacts with that. In addition, we've got fitness. Just the idea that, if you're going to live a longer and healthier life, keeping the body toned, keeping it moving, doing all these things. So now we've almost turned it into an art form, the many different things, Pilates, and, and I did one gal who did a week-long circus act program, where she learned to be like a circus trainer person. I mean, there's so many unique things to keep us healthy.
I want to interrupt just what you said something that just before I lose this train of thought on the take a break. You deserve a break today. I think that with the viewers and listeners out there that we, in taking a break today, we say, yes, we really need to take a break today, but don't you find that in that taking a break that we have the time now? So when we have more time, we fill that time, right? So that leaves us with less time.
Exactly.
So really it's just interesting to me when we say, gosh, we really do deserve a break today, but yet we fill that time with stuff. And this is really what we're really talking about, is going into this new reality that about time and about really taking the time. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out to the viewers and listeners, because it really is. We get a bigger house because we need more space. So what do? We fill it more.
Yes.
Right? We
Yes.
clean out our closet, internal and external. What do? We fill it more. Right? So anyway, I just had to throw it out there.
I love it. I love it. And it is.
Yeah.
It's this awareness. We keep talking, and it's so important. We're needing to go within, and what's inside when you have a moment is a chance to listen to things that just make sense to you, that just resonate, that you get a little tingle over. And you can't give yourself that experience without some, quote, out of timeness, where you're not busy doing the next thing. We found here today, we got rushing, and then we didn't have one of the bags we needed with some of the stuff. And that happens to all of us.
But the great thing is, like we were thinking, I mean, we did start the later than 12:30. But what's so amazing is when we talk about the time, that we really did, like it was just perfect. The timing was just perfect. Like,
Yeah.
it could have been one or whatever we could have said. But again, everything came together really well. And we knew that it was perfect. But in those moments of when I found out, about the holidays with the microphone and things like that, it was like, it's distressing.
Yes, it is.
But how often, things are happening in life. They're going to be distressing, and we're going to have to, work with this and see what's happening and be able to express
and take the time
to
express it.
Absolutely. It's really important.
Because that's what she did. She could have stayed in all that, but we took time to clear out the concern that had showed up for her in around this. And then it became more of an adventure. Then we were more aware, oh gosh, we forgot those items, so we were able to go home, because like those thoughts could then enter. So we just don't realize we're always filling our thinking and our life, so that to have the time where the universe or your higher self or whatever this God awareness is to you can reach us. And that's part of this new reality. So
and that there was some knowingness that I knew that everything was really perfect. Like I knew it, because even with the microphones, I was like, okay, I'm upset, but I knew that there was this perfect outcome that was going to happen. We would do it because, and I don't want to step, because I know you're going to talk about the 50 years, but what I do want to say, because we're talking about new reality, and this is what I told Jeannie, this show, Conscious Awareness TV, is my life. It means more to me than the air that I breathe. This, to raise the consciousness, to open the hearts of humanity, to in raising their consciousness so that they go inside and they find that peace, and you find the love.
Or the courage, like even today.
Yeah, within yourself, to be able to love what you want to do. And in loving what you want to do, we take care of Mother Earth. We're kind to one another. So, you know what? Nothing was going to stop us from doing the show today. So I want to let you know, nothing. No microphones, no tripod, no camera. Thank goodness Teresa Hill said, you know what, she was right there for us. I've got a tripod, I've got a video camera. And this is what we're talking about in this new reality, that people are there. People are there to support you to make this dream, because everyone has a dream out there.
Yes.
Everyone wants to make their dream a reality. And when you include everyone, and when everyone is on board to say, hey, I've got your back. I mean, again, perfect. This is, and I just thank all of you for showing up today, for you just to be patient and, and say okay, and with Linda forgetting that, the iPod and stuff.
Adventure time.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So I just want to thank you. So really,
yeah. Well, you're so welcome. And it is letting another person know that they're of value always, and we have another trip to take.
Right.
That's the difference. Our value's not tied into what did or didn't happen. So that part being done, then you can get into the adventure and you can emote and have those good things. So I just only have one more thing really to say about the 50 years. And that is the other thing that has expanded over this 50-year period is our sense of spirituality, things in the invisible world. I mean, really, back in the 50s, 60s, if you were a little too odd, they had these little white jackets that, kind of put your arms behind your back and said you're just a little too abnormal for us. So there's that opening now when you have just news to share that maybe you can't explain or scientifically prove, but it's true for you, and we're like, wow, that's great. So in reference to that and our new reality, which is allowing ourselves to have a moment to go within, to grasp some news trying to reach us from wherever, that we want to promote that. We want to promote energy and vibration, that these things are really the basis for our being informed. So I brought along a few of my toys here today.
I got to share mine, which I am wearing my shoes that I was showing last week, so I am wearing those today.
And they look fabulous on her. So.
I'm not going to bring my foot to the camera, so sorry, but you got to, get the idea to see them last week.
So one of our items here is called a Q-Link. And the thing about this particular product is it's gotten very popular with golfers. Now, for anybody who follows golf, there's a lot of people that are around the course when the golfer's trying to focus and make his shot. And again, it has copper wiring on the back, and it's designed to help the energy around you be balanced. So you might be in a situation where people are upset or distressed, but with this around your neck, this energy right around you is calmer. So it allows the golfer to be more in that space, that zone they get in, to hit the ball the way they want to.
One question, why just golfers?
I'm not saying it's just golfers. I just happen to know that a lot of golfers have found this to be worthwhile.
Really?
Maybe they do some of the others too.
May I see it?
You certainly can.
Okay.
Well, she looks at that. We're going to bring you another one.
Well, I want to show you guys. It's really kind of cool, actually, if you can see this. It's really kind of cool. I mean, it's very masculine, and it could be very feminine. So,
and it can be worn under your shirt or blouse. It's not like it has to be visible or in your pocket.
It's got a Q on there, so it's really it's very cool. I like that. I like that. And I like the idea
so it's
of the
using
copper. And this is worth a lot of money to the copper, just to let you know.
But it is the energy that we're moving into, so that we can pay better attention to the environments we've got ourselves in.
Well, how come copper with the energy? Why is copper?
Here's where I'm going to say I don't know and I can't say.
Oh.
But I can tell you I know it works because I've used it.
Really?
So I have a lot of mini surveys on things where I can't tell you who sets it in motion or what the scientific news is. I just know it works.
Yeah, I love that.
There you go.
Jeez.
Okay, and this one's called the cold coin. And it says that on it. Another one that you can wear around your neck. Now, this one actually is designed, and again, I don't know all the metal into it and stuff, but I bet you if you go online, thecoldcoin.com, you'll get news. But I find it fascinating because it's oriented towards helping you to remain healthy. So they invite you to put this in your pocket near, that part of our body that, can often get cold or cold start from our intestinal tract and this part of your body. So if you're around kids, who are, with colds and things, it also, it's neutralizing the energy. That's another word we'll use. It's neutralizing the energy around you, so all that cold energy is not reaching you. And when we're stressed, like she said earlier, when we feel our space and we're on the go, we're more susceptible to colds, illness, and that sort of thing. Do you want to feel that?
Yes, I do. Please. I love that. This is really cool. And it's not really heavy either. But I mean, there's a little bit of weight to it. It looks like there's a flower. It almost looks like the flower of life on the back.
Yeah.
And I don't think you're going to be able to see this on the camera, but. And where can they look on this one?
Again, this one's called the Cold Coin, and I imagine
thecoldcoin.com. Jinx again.
And I imagine Q-Link
Yeah.
.com. I'm pretty, or I'm
I
not
love
certain
that.
on that, but it's called a Q link.
Yeah, I love that.
Cool.
That's great.
That's
You have
good.
all kinds of little
Oh, I
goodies today.
do. I just because unlike Linda, I have spent a lot of my life in the invisible realm. So these are the kind of things that really suit me. So here we have one more. Now, these are fun, and they're called positive energy plates. And as you can see, it's in the shape of an angel. Now, they're not all. Some are in squares. And again, I don't know the exact metal to it, so that's not the kind of news you'd get from me. But what I can tell you, it works like a plate. So if you were to put your water, even tap water, if that's all you had, on this plate, it will ionize it. It will neutralize it and ionize it and allow for more alkaline for your water. And that's what we're really after, because a lot of the foods we eat are acidic, meats and a whole lot of things. Meats and dairy is what comes to mind. And so when we put more alkaline water or ionized water in our system, that balances our body. And again, the more balanced and alkaline we are, the less illness and disease that reaches us.
Yeah.
So this is a tiny one. They have
cute.
larger angels and larger plates where you can, put water, food, or anything on. Isn't that lovely?
I love that. Oh, you have all kinds of little goody gifts.
I know. Well, I
today.
travel a lot, and I don't always know where I'm at or
This
what
is
situations
beautiful.
are.
Yeah, I love that. That's really cool, and it's nice.
It's very lightweight. What is
Yeah.
that word? Titanium?
Titanium?
Titanium. I'm
Oh,
thinking that
wow.
it has some titanium in it. Now again, I'm not sure exactly what that means, but
It's
that
got
word
a
comes to
whole,
mind.
like, you could, yeah.
Once again,
You
I
can
just
wear
took it
it.
off. I have another.
Oh, wow.
These all can be worn, and they're worn just to your skin, or like I said, or put in a pocket, or putting something on top of them.
Now, how long have these things been around? So they've been around for a while, because this is interesting. We're talking about past 50 years, and of course now we're into this a new consciousness, and
That's what I'm
things.
saying. There's been changes, but
Right.
things have been around. I didn't bring, because I no longer own, I gave to a friend my pyramid, and it was a copper rod pyramid that sat on my head. Another one that you can put food underneath to balance the food, or put on your head and balance the energy coming down. Obviously, it's affecting your aura and your chakras.
Right.
So we know those are the basis for our being informed
But you
energetically.
You could probably make one of those, you think? I mean, the
I
copper
imagine
pyramids?
somebody
Yeah.
did when they did these. So yeah, you don't have to
Exactly.
go purchase something.
No.
But again, whatever your talents are, again, we're mixing the invisible and the visible world. So,
Right.
and one last thing here, because Miss Linda gave me a beautiful gift of a wonderful, delicious peanut butter pie. It was the absolute best. So I'm giving her a little gift here
Aw,
for the
thank
holidays.
you.
You bet. So
Thank
open it
you.
up.
Oh, I'm gonna open it up on.
You have to open
okay.
it up
Okay,
because
well, I'm opening it up online.
It relates.
Or not online, but on
On the show.
On the show. We're online.
I mean, it is the holidays. That's why I wore my hat. It's holiday time.
Oh, how pretty.
This is your very own energy piece.
Oh, wow, yeah. Okay,
Okay.
I think it opens at this end.
It surely does. Now, what she's going to notice is the words are in Spanish, because this actually comes from Mexico.
Wow.
That's right. And with a friend who had
And it's
brought
a
it
beautiful, like, it's like a cross,
Yeah.
but even
very strongly so.
very strongly.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you
You're
so
so
much.
welcome.
Thank
Mm.
you.
Now, what it does say
Yes.
that's what it says on the back, is I want her to know the energies that it's assisting are patience, perfect for today, generosity, which she has in spades, determined focus, getting to where you want with your hopes and dreams.
Yes.
Okay, and also a meditativeness, discipline. There's times when keeping ourselves on track, it's important to be able to boot that energy up.
Right.
Okay, and the
And
last, of course, most valuable is wisdom.
Wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. I just need to put my glasses on to read what this says, because I want to see.
How's your Spanish?
Doble Dorje Tibetiano.
Yes. My friend who gave
Tibetiano.
it to me
Do-
is Mexican background, so Spanish is her first
Do you know
language.
how to say that?
No, I don't know any of these.
Okay.
That's why I gave it to you in English, and it was on the back.
Yes, I saw that, but I
Yeah.
was just going to. Well, thank you so much. That
You're
was a
so
beautiful
welcome.
gift and surprise, and a nice surprise. So.
But fit in what we're talking about
Exactly.
today, because these are just some visible examples in this new reality, where we're going to be able to blend the invisible with the visible.
Right.
So cool.
Well, it's interesting too, because talking about the last 50 years and how the spirituality is really coming in. If you've noticed movies that are out, you're finding more movies that are spiritual, metaphysical, mystical, like the Adjustment Bureau.
Wow.
I mean, that one, if you haven't seen that one, great movie about these guys who are really angels, and they're out of, helping different people to stay on their path, and so, because we have obstacles that are on our path. So there's just so many things that are giving us an opportunity to be able to, in this new reality, in this new consciousness, to be able to step forward and really go in and do the work and really have the dreams that we want to
absolutely
create.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So my friends know I can do psychic readings, and that's lovely, but it's really more fascinating to us when we allow them to come up in ourselves. But I want to do just a little of that here on this show, and that's to say, every Christmas, every New Year's, we make New Year's resolutions. We're hopeful, we've got our dreams up and going, and so many times it doesn't quite come to fruition. So when I said to Linda about talking about this new reality, I'm wanting to say, over this 50-year period, we have made considerable changes. However, when we speak of 2012 being December 21st, because we humans, we're pretty exact. Yes. But in this cosmos, in the universal realm, it's really been 2011, 12, and 2013. So we're just now, like a cable car, making our turnaround, and now we're ready to go forward. Right. And that forwardness, as Linda pointed out, cooperation, team players, where everyone's of value, and everyone has the room to mess up, and everyone has the room to contribute, and everyone's a part of whatever dream is being unfolded. And so I thought another thing that was interesting is we're leaving the focusing on the lack and negativity, or the glass half empty, to positive, focusing on the glass is half full, and we're ready to fill it up and fill ourselves up. And when we're filled up with joy and kindness and appreciation and all support, we're more apt to share that. There's no room for the upsets. It doesn't mean don't share your upset when the upset happens, but having it come and go quickly allows for all this goodness and richness to be with us.
A question that kind of comes to my mind, we talk about New Year's resolutions, and people, it's like, okay, I'm going to do this, come New Year, January 1st, I'm going to make this New Year's resolution. Well, two things, a comment and then a question. The comment would be, why would we want to wait until the first of the year? Why not, create that reality or whatever it is in everyday life, or making, I don't want to say goals, but really setting out, this is what I want to do, instead of waiting to the first of the year and waiting for that year to end. But my question would be, because the viewers and listeners are probably, asking this question, well, how do we keep our New Year's resolution intact? How do we, when we're creating this whatever we want to call the New Year's resolution, our goal or our idea, our dreams, how do we really make that a reality, which is what we're going to talk about. But I think that's really a big question.
Yeah, and a very good question.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it is that difference between feeling separate and alone and have to keep it all to myself. What if it doesn't happen? And people said, well, you mentioned it, but it didn't happen, versus telling everybody what you're into and seeing who wants to come on board and assist you. Because, by the way, you then have time to assist somebody with their dream and vision.
Right.
So, that's part of it, is we need to give ourselves permission to speak on something while it's in the formulative stages. I laugh because people know I like Wheel of Fortune. So a couple years ago, it was in San Diego, and I actually got to the second stage of it, which is right before they put you on the show. And at that stage, I emailed everyone, oh my gosh, I'm going to win my 100,000. I want you to know I'm in this process with Wheel of Fortune. My friends are so great. Good for you. Congratulations. Because that was the moment it was possible. That was the moment that they could give me the good for you-ness. If I had waited to say, well, I did this thing, but it didn't work out, they couldn't say good for you. It's like, oh, so sorry, too bad, didn't work out. Yeah. But you see, it did work out. I had really just wanted to see, how do they get people on the show? Because, there are a lot of great folks to do that kind of show, and if you get the right letters, you win the prize.
Exactly.
But I got to see how it goes. And like most things, what you see on TV and how it goes isn't quite the same.
Right.
So I needed to see that.
Right.
And that's fun.
I think what's amazing too is that when we talk about New Year's resolutions, or really and I don't even want to call it New Year's resolutions. I really would like to say our topic is about hopes and dreams, about making your dream a reality.
Mm-hmm.
And that when instead of saying, this is my dream and I'm going to do this by myself,
Mm-hmm.
this is not about doing things by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
This is about going back to originally really what life was supposed to be about, of all of us coming together. You had mentioned in the tribe last week.
Absolutely.
About when someone is ill, everyone comes together to help that person.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the same thing. If you have a dream out there and you want to see this dream come to manifestation, then you start talking about this dream. Mm-hmm. You start sharing. And I really want to say, my nephew's in town with me, mm-hmm. From Springfield, Illinois. And, and here he is, 27 years old, and he decided that, he was tired of living in this cornfield place. He loves Springfield, but he's, people telling him what he should do and all this other stuff. He set out on this journey. Mm. And in this journey, it's letting people know, hey, I'm on this journey. I'm going to be here, and I'm writing this book, and you're going to be a part of a character. So he's inviting everyone to share in this, I call it a walkabout. To share in this journey, this walkabout journey. So it really is. And while he's doing this, there's this graphic Marvel, is it Marvel Comics? Is that what it's called?
Marvel Comics.
Yeah, thank you. Marvel Comics. I'm thinking of the Carmel because there's cakes by Carmel. So I've got sweets on my mind. But so he's letting everybody know about this book that he wants to do. So what I'm saying is that in your dreams is letting people know that what you're up to, and in gathering people to say, how can you help me and I help you?
Exactly.
Instead of trying to do this by yourself. It's about bringing everyone and including everyone that's really got the same vision that's right up. I mean, just the show. And Alan's like, gosh, I love the idea. Let me just come on board with you.
Yeah.
And that's what helped this become a reality. And then in having you on the show and, and things just blossoming and saying, hey, So I just think
bigger than all of us. Then it gets bigger than all of us.
Yes.
Which is so nice.
And it really is bigger than all of us. We have this dream, but it is so much bigger than we need the help of the universe, spirit, God, whatever you want to call it.
And other people.
And other people, which they are a part of all of this. So
exactly. And I often, at least because I've been in the healing arts most of my life, people are asking, what's my purpose, and how can I get there in this? And I keep want to say that if we keep engaging with what's right in front of us, in our community, in our home, with our family, and we keep showing up, then that purpose becomes clear to us. It's not something we have to go get over there. It's not separate from this over here. Mm-hmm. It's really our life. And as people share their hopes and dreams with you, you'll find someone share something that's like, wow, I didn't realize, but I've thought about that my whole life. I want to be a part of that. And that's how we can bring things to our conscious level. And it's like Linda's saying, we don't need to be told it's the 1st of January, time for a New Year's resolution. Right. But we've lived life that way in separation. Well, okay, so now it's New Year's, and then there's Valentine's Day. Like, you can't have a heartful situation on a different day.
Exactly.
But the idea was to bring things to the surface. Well, they're to the surface now. So now, you can send out your Valentines in July if you like, because people can still appreciate all that hardness.
Right, absolutely. What also comes to my mind, too, is that the viewers and listeners might be wondering, well, gosh, I don't really know what my hopes and my dreams are. And the one thing that I can say from my own experience and other people's experiences in the work that I do as well is that it's those moments that time just passes you by. And the next thing you know, it's been 5 hours and you realize, oh my gosh, like 5 hours has gone by. It just feels like 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. That's when you know you're onto something, or things start popping up, or it's in your mind. You're like, where did that come from? Mm-hmm. Those are things to really take a look at, and you're kind of putting a puzzle together.
Sure.
You're putting the pieces of a puzzle together. So if you find yourself really, the time is just passing by, and you lose sight of time, and you're in conversations about certain things, that's another way to know that that's probably a dream, that you've something that you're really passionate about.
Exactly, and find out if others are passionate about it, and then get their slant and your slant.
And you start speaking about it.
Right,
exactly.
and there's two things that we're just leaving behind when we speak about community is strangers. Truly, when we operate as in connection and as community, there aren't strangers. So I'm thinking in a lot of smaller towns, they'd say there's going to be a lot less crime because they know everybody. That doesn't mean everybody's living the same way or we all have to get on everybody's bandwagon, but that's that familiarity. Oh, there's Mark over there. Okay, yeah, we know what's up with Mark. But maybe today Mark is running a little ragged, so he could look homeless to somebody or dangerous. Well, okay, Mark, and he just got out of the back country, just shot a deer or something. So when you have that knowingness, it also provides safety within ourselves and stuff. So just the elements of having to keep energy at bay as we embrace and reminding that everybody falls short. Nobody has this like picture perfect program.
Right.
I mean, that happens for me a lot, Linda. People think, I just walk on water. And although a lot of good things do happen, and I'm so grateful, I also managed to break the little tab off the vacuum cleaner, using the handle, and somehow I moved it too far, too fast, or it dropped, one of those kind of things. So, things happen in my world all the time. My poor little car has a little bump in the back because I was rushing around too fast, so it's like, wow. But I like to get the messages that are just little things saying, hey, you might want to slow it down a hair. And I'm grateful and I apologize to the item for, having to get the message that way.
Right.
But it hasn't resulted in big items like my health or something.
Exactly. So what would be a dream of yours? Like a dream of
Oh my
dream
gosh.
to a reality?
I believe it's truly happening because
Yes.
I tell people I'm not so oriented to deliver news just to deliver it. I like the planet. I'm quite happy to be here, but I do have news to deliver if people are interested. And then I ran into her. So it's like, it's my dream. I've, done a lot in the healing arts and been happy and a lot of one-on-one work, but this is really right up my alley to be able to reach more people. To have you can ask any question, as bizarre or simple or concerning. All of those are valuable to me. And all this news, Linda's like talking, because I've spent so much time in the invisible realm, I probably feel more comfortable there than even here. But with Linda, we get to balance. She's growing by leaps and bounds into her, unfoldment. I get to come along, which is fabulous, and get to share as I go. It's really a wonderful combination, and it makes us members of the Mutual Admiration Club,
Yes.
of which I like to be a member.
Yes.
Because that club says, hey, I'm grateful for you, and you say, well, I'm grateful for you, and we're all grateful, and so we all get to be members. And that's right up there with the Hug Therapy Association also. I think we are all members of that. Sometimes we let our membership lag. But get more hugs. You want to feel connected? Get more hugs. Ask for a hug. I'll ask people, do you have an extra hug today? Because, it's so valuable. That connection speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just love them.
Yeah.
Oh, yay. Oh, God.
You said something when we were driving up to that I can't really remember because it's, well, maybe I don't need to bring it up, but it was about letting the universe know that, if you're putting something out to the universe, right, and things are happening. So what we were saying is because my whole thing is about living consciously, right?
Yes.
So when I was saying, keep telling the universe, I want to live consciously. So what you were saying is that, which is true, that the universe is giving me opportunities to live. So to live consciously. So because that's my dream. My dream is to raise the consciousness and open the hearts of humanity, which is your dream as well.
Yeah.
So we're doing this together. So for me, that's so important. But in order to do that, I have to live consciously. I have to be what I want to share to the world. So you said something about, because I was saying, okay, well, you had said, well, when you start quit putting out there living consciously, that you won't get these experiences. And I thought that was really interesting.
And what I meant, because I'm not sure I said it quite that way or meant it quite that way.
But
But what I was trying to say is, when we make a change, a growth change, we're saying, I'm now ready to grow. The universe says, great. Here now are some challenges or obstacles that will allow you the opportunity to physically, mentally, emotionally move your spiritual self into that place you want to experience on this planet. And I said, when we've done enough of that, when we've done enough, quote, heading towards it, once we arrive, whatever that moment is, then we have less of these challenges. So it gives you a clue when you say, I want to earn more money. Then the challenges come up and you meet the challenge and you emote and you share with people and you get support, and then you get offered an interview for a job that does make more money. You're gonna, once you get that job that has the more money, then you're not going to get the challenges that came with booting up to have a better job.
Because you're already living
You're
it.
living it now.
Right.
You've done enough. That's
Right.
the word. That it's a funny
No.
word, but you kind of know when you've done enough.
Yeah.
And then these opportunities melt away. But since we're always growing, it doesn't mean we don't plateau at times and enjoy, but we're always growing. Generally speaking, some new opportunity presents itself.
Right. I think as opposed to saying, because I think some people, including myself at one point in my journey, would say, you know, oh, I'm just being punished, or, you know, the universe is punishing me. That's not really the true. And that was really an aha moment when you said that. And it's kind of interesting because I couldn't really remember exactly what the transcribed there, but it was just an aha moment and it was gone. But you know, so again, if we're saying, you know, we want this dream, we want to be able to have this new reality, whatever that is for you, remember that the universe is going to give you it's going to activate it and give you the opportunities that will allow you to be able to step into that.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. This planet, we were never, ever, ever meant to feel like we're alone in the program. Not ever. From the moment we arrive to the moment we depart, not feel alone. That doesn't mean we're not by ourselves at times, but that's why people laugh when I update so much, and I'll put in a call to them and say, hey, I'm thinking of you, because I'm wanting them to know that they're consciously with me and I'm with them. And you know, sometimes I forget I called them 6, 7, 10 times, and my friends will reply, oh, Jeannie, thanks for the 10 calls. And I'll go, oh, that many? Must have really been thinking of you. And I go, oh, no, I loved it, thank you. So, you know, it's just keep reminding and putting forth, because I am so grateful to be informed. I am so grateful. No one gets more help. No one's had better support, family-wise, friends, out on the open road. I've traveled on the open road and stopped people in the middle of the night in Texas, in the middle of nowhere, and had the best experiences. And I know it comes from, I'm just so grateful to be here, and I'm so grateful to that person taking a moment to stop and help me with my tire or whatever. And that precedes me, that energy. I'm not coming from, oh my gosh, what's bad going to happen? I just have some inner knowingness and gratitude that, oh my gosh, here's another human being that can, in this moment, help me get where I'm going.
Exactly. Well, I like how you said it, the energy precedes you, because I feel that it kind of goes into, if you having this dream and this reality really become a fruition, is having, you know, like my nephew with this Marvel graphic comic thing that he wants to do. I told him, I said, just go, when you're out there talking to people, you just share about this comic book, you know, and just keep talking about it. That it already exists. So I think it's that, and that energy precedes him. He's just like saying, oh yeah, I've got this book coming up, you know, da 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 da, and people are like, oh my gosh, that's great. So the energy's already out there. It's already preceding him. So when you're doing that and having this energy precede you, that, you know, that there's this, you know, I don't know if you want to build a veterinarian hospital or
or a spiritual center,
whichever, you know, and letting people know, hey, I've got a spiritual center that I'm looking at building. Do you know anybody that's interested in the same thing?
Right.
Because
does construction or does, you know, marketing, does whatever.
Exactly, because you will be surprised at the people who will really support you and really come about, because they've had the same vision in some way that they know that they're really good at, because we all have our strengths and our weaknesses, and they're going to say, well, hey, I'm really good at this, you know, and they're going to be on board. So I mean, you know, you just don't know, and that's when this whole energy preceding you, and you going out there and you saying what your dreams and your reality are.
So that's my psychic reading is the universal energy has changed directions. We're not like salmon swimming upstream any longer. Universal energy is heading home, or God awareness is heading home, or cosmic, or whatever you consider this larger place to be, is heading back to oneness. And in that oneness, and the sooner I'm going to say that we come on board to interact, that everybody's a part of it, the more fun you'll have, the more your hopes and dreams will happen.
Can you give them clarity? I didn't mean to repeat, but can you give the viewers and listeners clarity on, you know, coming home, because we know we're going home, but into the oneness, so they have an idea of what that really looks like, to expand on that.
Yeah, and again, this is one of those invisible kind of terminologies. I'm referring to a feeling of when you have had a life experience and you see somebody on TV talking about that same life experience, you're at home with them. You know what they're going through. You know from your personal experience. It's not that we have to experience it all, but we're coming home to that knowingness. So when someone talks to us about something going on, we're going to like really get a feel of how that might really be for them, not just trying to figure out what they need to get well, but it's taking our awareness of, or like putting ourselves in somebody else's shoes. But it's happening right there. So they're talking to you, but you're feeling it like it's kind of going on with you. Not all the details, not all the, pains in the body, but the feeling that's going with that person feeling isolated and separate or scared or those. These are all things we all know from different life experiences. And the funny thing is, the more we see what's similar in all of us, then the more diversity we can have out here. But when we don't see similarity, I want you to be identical. You're wearing red and black, I'm wearing red and black. Like, we just both wore red and black. But then we want everybody the same and shop at the same store. But when we really can get on the experiential part of life, which is the joys and the sorrows and the fears and the upsets and concerns, wow, then it's really okay they be a little different from me. Maybe they want the silverware up in the dishwasher when I just love it that it goes down. Well, it doesn't matter so much.
Right.
So it really helps our relationships a great deal. To see what's really important to all of us is to love and be loved, to be heard, to be included, to be a part of. And the really amazing thing is we all have something to share. I don't care if you've sat on the side of the street corner and watched your life go by. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean you don't have something to share.
Absolutely.
We all have something to share. So when we get inviting that, more people are going to experience more abundant flow, whatever that is for them, because we're all including everybody and we're sharing the wealth on the planet.
Exactly. Well, and too, it's like I know that, and this has gone on in spirituality, that everybody has a great gift. Everyone was brought here with this a magnificent gift, which were magnificent, gifts to begin with. But we have this gift, whatever that is, this your dream, whatever that is for you.
Talents.
Your talents.
Hidden talents.
Exactly.
Hidden talents. Check those out.
Exactly. To be able to bring that forth. And again, this is all about in raising the consciousness, because when you start to recognize what feels right for you, what moves you, what you're passionate about, then you go out and you're more joyful. There's harmony, there's peace, there's love, there's kindness, all of this. And it all goes in hand, right?
And people pick up on it. They
Exactly.
pick up on laughter. They pick up on excitement, and we all want that. So, good.
Absolutely.
Okay, super. So we got ourselves a question.
Yes. So how do you know invisibly... Okay, I got my glasses on. This is a challenge. Sorry.
Okay.
How do you know invisibly that your hopes and dreams are moving forward? Oh, great question. Great question.
Yes.
Can
I start? You
yes.
start.
No, go ahead.
I'll start.
You start because you said it first.
Okay. Because this really is up my alley. Again, we make up a dream, a hope, out of our mental thought processes, so we think. Okay? And it's not out here. We're just talking about it. But there's a space between that and actually seeing it in the world. So in that space is where we were speaking a little bit about it. You share it with people. And take a look to see if you're sharing with people who are enthusiastic with you or who poo-poo it. And then you want to start to make a detour over to the folks who are actually enthusiastic about your thoughts. So we're going to navigate. You're going to get clues along the way. And then somebody you might talk to says, I've got this friend who, you want to make a movie and they've done production in LA all these years. Great. So through that middle person, you get to link up, get to meet somebody. Perhaps it's a tingle. Sometimes when you talk about what you really love, maybe you just really love producing food. I mean, some people, it's not just being a chef. I mean, they put their whole heart and soul into the dish they're making. And while they're doing it, they're getting tingles. Their body's tingling, because that's another universal response that you're right where you're to be. It's like bigger.
Energy.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you're bigger than you even realize. I mean, a lot more is going into it. So there are these kinds of things. And even asking a good friend, like saying, gosh, I feel a little blocked. And the good friend says, well, have you thought about this or thought about this? Because not being their dream, they can kind of see the parameters of it better. So I've had many a person say, oh, have you thought of this? Have you thought of that? And go, oh my gosh, it's going to be on my epitaph.
Yeah.
She never thought.
Yeah.
You know, because that was a perfect thought. It's like, wow, that makes me think of this, this, and this.
Yeah.
So that's why your emphasis on sharing it helps us get our energy out there and get it into fruition sooner.
Yeah. For myself, what I've done a couple things is, one, I've had a question, and two, having a mastermind, like a brainstorming. So I've had friends get around together and say, you know, what do you see? Because it's sometimes, I shouldn't say, well, I'm going to say this. Sometimes for me, I want to say for me, it's hard to see myself and what I can do that other people can actually see.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we would sit around the table and they would say, you know, I would say certain things, and so it's more of a brainstorming, right?
And they'd say, well, you also do this, and you go,
right. So
oh.
It's giving me ideas, and it's like, oh, I didn't know that you saw, that's what you saw in me. So that's one way of doing it. And the other thing is somebody had asked me this question. I was at this conference, and they said, what is the one thing that if you could not do on this earth, that you would just, you know, they'd say, you can't do that. And I'd say, if I couldn't talk about life and about consciousness, then I would not want to be on this earth. So I knew that in asking, having them ask me that question, and knowing that talking about life and having conversations and being able to shift the consciousness and talking about consciousness is, I'm really passionate about it. Mm-hmm. So if somebody said you could never talk about that again, I would say, well, then just kill me now.
There you go.
So yeah, so I think just, you know, and there's, again, the confirmation of goosebumps, and you know, when you're talking about something, or you get really excited about something.
Time stands still.
Yeah, standing still. That's happened to me, you know, when you just do things and it's just passing by. So.
And there's a lot of, just another thing that's, again, great at this time is a lot of people are having unusual dreams and going to other realms and things that they're not sure even exist. Sharing all of those things, again, allows us to ponder things that may be not unable to scientifically prove at this time.
Well, because we know that dreams are really metaphors, really for us. I think it's our higher self. Now, I mean, this may not be a belief for anybody else, but I think it's a way that our self can actually get a message to us in through our dreams.
Yeah, and then we don't always remember them.
No.
Darn.
Well, and if you do, you could say your dream to someone. They could say, well, my perception about that dream was X, you know, so maybe it's something that you've been thinking about writing a book, or you've been thinking about putting a show together. And another thing, too, I will say about that as well, is that what's come up for me is also when there's fear that has come up. Like when I did the wanting to do the radio show, and really this TV show too, having that fear, but knowing that I was really passionate about it. But it was like, if I hit that enter button and I say, okay, it's a done deal. Ooh. I'm in. Ooh. You know, and so it was kind of scary when you're kind of inching towards that, and you hit that enter button, and you know you're on board now. So and I asked myself, the question is, what's the worst that can happen? Mm-hmm. You know, if nobody shows up, nobody wants to be on the show, nobody wants to
start late.
Or you start late, or you forget the equipment, no microphones, right? So then it's like, okay, what's the worst that can happen? Mm-hmm. But then we're still going to make this dream a reality. Mm-hmm. So I guess really what I'm saying is that the obstacles might come in the way, but if you're so passionate about it, again, like we said, this show was going to go on air, whether it was going to be videotaped, live. We weren't sure what it was going to happen without the microphones, but we knew that we were going to do whatever it was going to take to get up and to really have this show for you guys. You know?
Yeah. And that's something that's in our knowingness, of knowing we're going to do whatever it takes. That's what we're bringing more to the surface and inviting all of you to see as well, is that just having some inner knowingness or inner drive that this is going to come to fruition. And when that's known, this universal part, that's our greater, higher self, whatever, it comes more into alignment with us. Because as humans, we do speak a lot of things and try a lot of stuff, and you know, sooner than the universe's idea of time and space, we go on to a new topic. So we have to want to differentiate between something that's just a good idea and kind of fun, or something we really, you know, like she says, are passionate and just feel we must bring out into the world. I know there's a couple people on PBS who have done these wonderful, you know, these documentaries. You know, the I Am documentary, and then, you know, the one on Happy. They just had to do it. They got out in the world and now it's being presented to people. For those of us that didn't go out in the world there, but we get to go out in the world through
Exactly.
their avenue.
Exactly.
So.
Well, in Oprah, we read an article on Oprah Winfrey. She was in Baltimore and
Mm-hmm.
she wanted to go to Chicago. And in that article, they said, "Are you kidding? Phil Donahue, there's no way."
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Well, I'm going to go and I'm going to try it. If it fails, then I'm going to do something else." She had a dream. Mrs. Fields Cookies.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that somebody baking cookies in their house is going to become a well-known company, you know? So you don't know. It's just when you have that dream that you know within your heart how passionate, you know, that you just, there's a knowingness that you know. And I feel that, you know, as we're kids, and I know for myself that, you know, my dream when I was a little kid, I told my mom, I said, I wanted to go have my name in lights in Hollywood.
Oh,
That I
wow.
wanted to be a movie star, right?
Cool.
Well, so my mom said, no way, you know, that's not going to be, it's not a real dream, it's not a reality. And, you know, it kind of squashed really my dream. I thought, I guess I'm never going to be able to do this, so I'm going to put that somewhere, you know, and bury it, which we do. You know, how often do you go through life? I mean, Bill Cosby, Lucille Ball, they were all told, quit being funny, you know, you're not funny.
Yeah.
And you look at them, so, you know, really this just, and I want to also talk on, coming into this 2014, because you know we talked about 11, 12, and 13. There is a difference. I feel a lot of people are talking about this shift. They can feel something is happening. So really, because you know this is Tuesday, Wednesday actually is the 1st of January. So we're coming into this really
Last
different.
week?
Yeah, next week.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah,
this is
the
really
last
the
week.
last week of
2013.
2013. So you know, I think that just with all the feelings and the shifts that are happening, and you know, so what are your thoughts on that?
That's what I'm saying. It's not like January 1, everything's different. I'm simply saying we're all heading a similar direction.
Yeah.
And you're going to see many different new modalities in the healing arts. You're going to see folks doing a lot of what we might call an unusual activity and get a whole bunch of people on board because that uniqueness in us is coming to the surface. And when we share that uniqueness, it inspires others. Not that they do the same thing. This is not about you having to agree with us or do what we say. It's about, you know, you being inspired to bring forth what really, you know, floats your boat. And if you say, gosh, I don't know what that is, that's only statement number one. I'll say again, well, what's your idea? Well, I don't know. That's fine too. Well, what's your idea? You know, and before you know it, an idea will have formulated and you'll be speaking and go, oh my gosh, I had no idea that was my idea for myself. So, you know, that's what's coming up. We're using our energies to boost each other, and in that boosting, things that we've forgotten in our consciousness are going to boot up as well and become conscious to us.
Right. So what we're really saying, we've got just a little bit of time left, what we're really saying is that it's all about including everyone in and bringing and speaking out of what your dream and what your reality is, just because there's another person out there that may have the same dream reality. So, and really in helping one another. It's not about I or me or what I want, and it really is about this oneness. It's about including everyone. So,
and relationship. It really gets down to, we've been trying to run relationship by not relating first to ourselves and then extending that relationship to others. When you do more of that, you will feel related. And now we have topics that can help all of us have something greater than just our everyday living. And that's always inspiring to us as humans. So speaking of which, I'm going to do one little plug on here for my classes, because talking about 50 years, there happen to be two different bookstores in the San Diego area. One downtown, that's Controversial Bookstore, and there's one in Escondido called the Philosophical Library. These are what you would call a hole-in-the-wall little places. You know, they're not big, they're not Borders, they're not Barnes & Noble. They have been around 50 years, both of them. They're celebrating 50 years, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, so that in itself, they've held space with books, with opportunities for people to see and read and expand themselves. So if you're in the greater San Diego area, both of those are delightful, and I'm going to be doing some, what I'm going to call practical magic classes, are really more taking people to their larger self and having that self direct news to our individual self starting in February at both places. So it's a 50-year celebration.
Absolutely, and I'm sure they'll be wonderful too. And I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show, if you have any questions that did not get answered today, or you just, there's a topic that you want us to talk about, please do send it into admin at tv.com, and we will be sure to answer those questions at the next show. And also the next show coming up next week, January 2nd, will be Lori Sheets, and she will be speaking on the gift of imperfection. Jeannie will be gone for a little while. She's going to be on vacation, and she will be back, so there's going to be some changes. So look forward to some wonderful changes, new look, new year, new realities. So we really look forward to having you tune in next week to our show, The Gift of Imperfection. And we want to thank you so much for...
And tell them about YouTube, that they can go and...
Oh, yes. And don't forget, if you missed today's show, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
If you missed today's show, you can go to our YouTube channel, which is Conscious Awareness TV, and be sure to subscribe, because if you do subscribe, you will be notified of when all the shows are archived.
Exactly.
And also like us. That would be great.
What fun.
So, yeah. So thank you so much for tuning in today. We really enjoyed having you here and being able to share about this new reality and your dreams and having your dreams come true. So...
It's
yeah,
time.
Thank you. Yeah,
and a happy new year.
Yes.
Really, it is a happy new year.
Yeah. And have a blessed new year. We want to thank Teresa Hill for Sacred Space again, and Alan for making everything happen. So.
And all of you.
Yes. Thank you so much, and we'll tune in to next week. Thank you.